There's two kinds of branding. There's corporate branding and there's also personal branding. Corporate branding is about how you brand your business. How do you position your business in the mind of your ideal prospects? Secondly is personal branding, and this is all about you. This is how you position yourself effectively in the mind of your ideal prospect. And remember, before a company or before an individual can buy your services, they have to buy you. So I call this the when Harry met Sally model of selling. If your prospects cannot and do not look at you and say, I want that in my life, then unfortunately, they'll never be able to buy from you. When your ideal prospect looks at you and says, I want that level of confidence, when they look at you and say, I want that level of peace of mind, when they look at you and say, I want that stress-free personality, I want that financial, and I want that time freedom, when they look at you and say, I want those same results in my business, the same results in my relationships, the same level of health and fitness, and the same lifestyle. When your ideal prospect can look at you and say, I want that, then they can buy from you. If a good quality prospect looks at you and says, yuck, I don't believe you, I don't see it working in your life, then these people psychologically and emotionally will never be able to buy from you. What you must become is a product of your product. And you're probably asking the question, well, Daniel, what does that mean for me? What it means to you is that you walk your talk. It means you have the results in your life. You're already experiencing these results. You're already experiencing these benefits of the product or the service that you are offering. And here's a great example. We all know the old adage, you are what you eat. So I want you to imagine you've gone into a health food store. You've gone into a health food store, they're selling organics, they're selling supplements, and they're selling nutritional food. Now, the person who comes over and serves you starts to talk about all these benefits of their products. And they start to say how much you can increase your health and your vitality. And they talk about the results that they've got in their personal life. Now, as you look up at that person, you start to doubt that they're actually getting those results. They're talking about health, and there they are, overweight, incredibly overweight. They're talking about how these supplements can improve your skin quality, and there they are with a pizza face, covered in pimples. They start to talk about the energy and the vitality that they've been experiencing, and there they are, yawning, low energy, and the colour all drawn out of their face. As you stitch it all together, as you hear these benefits that they're talking about, but as you're watching this person and you're seeing that they don't experience these same benefits, results, or improvements, psychologically, it doesn't make sense. Emotionally, you feel that this is a con job, that somebody's just pulling your leg or yanking your chain, and it's impossible for you to buy. When that story doesn't match what you see in front of you, you can't take the next step. So this is about becoming a product of the product. People have to be able to look at you and say, this is congruent. This person is practicing what they're preaching, and I want those same results in my life. So here is what you need to do to begin to market yourself and build that personal brand as a coach. Well, the first step is you have to take your prospect on a journey with you. And what that means is you have to become sociable. See, we live in a day of social media. We have people watching what we're doing all of the time. And this is one of the most magnificent things that we have today to build our personal brand. We have a platform where people can constantly look over our shoulder. They can constantly see the life that we're living. And as a coach, you have to become sociable. You have to share your business on social media. You have to share your personal life on social media, and you have to be able to show your prospects and demonstrate to them that you have those results in your life. And here's a personal journey of that taking place with my personal brand. One of the things that's important to myself, and it's also important to my wife Ninny, is travel. One of our personal goals is to take at least 4 international family holidays every year, and we talk about this and we tell people this. I've also set up my business so I can travel around the world. I'm not confined to one physical location. So as I talk about this, I also need to demonstrate it. So today, when I'm filming this video, I'm in Dubai. And since I left Taiwan, I've been sharing photos on social media, the experience at the airport, in flight, when I landed into Dubai, once I've met up with friends, once I've been out on the boat, I'm constantly showing my audience what I'm doing. I'm taking them on the journey with me. And they know I'm a coach. I recommend other people become a coach. I recommend other people start to increase their levels of leadership and their leadership abilities in their business so that they can live a life that I talk about, but I also demonstrate it. And when I demonstrate it, I also meet up with my prospects in many different countries. And what happens, they say, this is legit. I want what Daniel's having. And when you have that same impact with your clients, they'll buy from you. And they won't buy from you immediately, but they will buy from you when they're ready. See, one of the things that frustrates a lot of business people, they start a business, they offer a new service, and they expect everybody to buy. But they get upset when people don't buy. Your buyers will buy when they're ready. They'll utilize your services when they're ready, and they won't do it before. Even if you're very persuasive, they won't do it before they are ready. So what you have to do in preparation is you have to take them on this journey. Now, to be straight with you, I have had people wanting to work with me for more than a decade. They've been following my journey for a decade, but they're not in a position where they're ready to coach. But I know that in the next 20 years, in the next 30 years, that when they're ready, they've been following me and I'll be their go-to guy. Now, the next thing that you need to do in personal branding is you need to be vulnerable. See, people buy people. People don't buy companies. People buy people. And if you talk about the challenges that you've had throughout your life, if you can demonstrate the challenges that you've had recently and you can show them how that using your strategies you can overcome those obstacles and achieve the end goal, then people will be more likely to buy from you. So as an example, I tell people all the time and I show them photos that 10 years ago, a decade ago, I was cabin crew and I was earning $25 an hour. As a business coach today, I show people that if you follow certain steps and procedures, is that you can increase your income by 1,000%. You can increase it tenfold. Now, a lot of people look at me and they laugh and they say, well, we don't believe it's possible. See, those people aren't my ideal clients. So I'm not going to preach to those people. I'm not going to try to convert those people. I'm only going to speak to those people who say, you know what? I believe this guy, and if he can show me how to do it, I'm all in. So you need to be able to demonstrate that you're getting the results in your life. And openly, I'm happy to share that 10 years ago, I was earning $25 per hour. Today, my entry fee for consulting is $750 per hour. There's people watching this video and they know, because when I started training and coaching, I was charging $250 an hour. That was 10 times what I was earning. I then boosted it up to $500 per hour, and today my entry-level coaching rate is $750 per hour. Now, I also have clients who pay me, not every day, not every hour, but they'll pay me up to $2,500 per hour for my consulting. And I can show you invoices and receipts to prove that. But we have to be able to demonstrate this to our clients. So here's the point. If you're talking about a result, then you have to have already achieved that result. And when you can prove that you've achieved that result, eventually the prospect will buy from you. Now, the third part of personal branding is that you have to become marriage material. And think about the statistics, is that 67% of marriages end in divorce. This is a danger for relationships, but it's also a danger in business. See, you have to become marriage material, and I'm going to give you the steps to do that right now. So, first of all, nobody likes to be with people who blame other people for not having their life the way they want it. So, on social media, and when you meet people face to face, don't take an emotional dump on them. Don't talk about your stories, and don't ever point the finger at somebody for not having life the way that you want it. Any relationship where the partner blames somebody else for not having life the way they want it, that relationship always ends up toxic. Now, secondly, nobody likes people who make excuses for not getting what they want personally and professionally. So, you have to set your goals and you have to go out and get exactly what you want. And if you don't get it, that's okay. Just don't make excuses for not having it. Because the moment that you give excuses, people don't want to buy into that. That's not marriage material, and they won't buy your products and services. The next thing is, nobody likes negativity. If you're getting on social media and you're ranting and you're raving about a particular experience you've had and there's nothing constructive about it, or there's nothing that you learn from it that you can share with other people, then your credibility is going to go down the drain. Nobody likes negativity. Also, nobody likes people who are in denial. The interesting thing about denial is that it's not a river in Egypt. It's personal denial. You're failing to see life and live life objectively. See, the person who lives life in denial, they don't believe they're in denial, but everybody around them sees that they're in denial. And being in denial is a reason why most people and their relationships, because they live in this toxic environment. They leave the toxic environment, they find somebody who goes, wow, this person really lights me up in my life, and they leave their partners. And they realise that they'd been living in denial and their partner was in denial for years. You know these people. So if you're in denial, get out of denial. Take responsibility, because your clients aren't going to buy you if you're in denial. Now, finally, one of the things that holds coaches back is it's scarcity. And I hear this from coaches all the time, and these days I don't even point it out to them. I just shake my head, and I know that they're going to fail in the weeks and months ahead. One of the biggest things that holds coaches back is scarcity. Coaches, they're offered programs, they're offered opportunities to enhance their business, and they say, I can't afford it. I don't have any money. Right now is not the right time. See, this is scarcity. We live in a world of abundance. There is so much money. There are so many clients. And for all of those coaches, and you know these people who use money as an excuse, will never survive in the coaching industry. Because of perception is projection, what happens is that when a client says to them, hey, I can't afford this right now, they accept it because they see themselves in that other person, and they say, oh, this is an excuse that I use all the time. And I'm so convinced of this limitation in my life that it must be true for them also. And this is the scarcity mentality. So you've got to remember this, coaches, that if you use a scarcity mentality, if you're offered a great opportunity and you use money, time as an excuse, you're never going to succeed. And if you use it and your prospects hear that you use it, they'll never buy from you. Now, the final thought on what not to do is remember that you're a coach. You're preaching abundance. You're showing people and telling people every day that they can live a better life. So if you're promoting that, but you're talking about scarcity and you're living secretly in scarcity, everybody knows it except you. How do I know this? Because it happened to me. I'm only sharing these things with you because I've violated all of those laws in my life. You know the story, I've told you before. I was preaching abundance and I went into a real estate office and I was pitching them and I was trying to close them on a $30,000 deal. And whether it was conscious or unconscious, the owner looked at me and he said, Daniel, I had a guy come into my office once and he wanted a job. And he told me how prosperous he was. And then I looked at his suit and he's wearing a polyester suit. And he said, nobody who is prosperous wears a polyester suit. Now, I went outside after the meeting, I hadn't closed it, and I looked inside of my suit coat, and unfortunately, on the label it said 100% polyester. Now, I rang Nini, I said, get out the credit cards, we went shopping, and we spent money, we invested money into me. I'm the leader of the business. And we went out and bought $1,000 woolen suits. I went back the next week, and he signed a contract of $30,000. See, when you preach abundance, whether it be financial freedom, time freedom, spirituality, emotional freedom, you want to make sure that you have it for yourself. Because people are smart, prospects are intelligent, and if they get a whiff that it's not working for you, then you'll have the same experience as I did, and they won't buy from you. So as a coach, as a leader, what do people really want from you? And these you've got to write down right now. And then you have to apply them into your life. So firstly, they need you to be positive. Maybe you are the only positive person. Maybe you're the only positive role model in their life, and they need you to be that positive person. They also need you to take total responsibility for your life. And if you do, what happens is you become a leader, not just a coach, but you become a leader amongst leaders. So you need to take responsibility. You also need to remain optimistic. What we know is that 70% of the decisions that we make in life turn out to be incorrect. And the reason is because at the start of the journey, we don't have enough information to make an excellent choice. So we have to remain optimistic. We have to be able to fall down and fall face first on the pavement and break our nose and split our heads open. And we need to be able to get back. Even if we've got no teeth left, we've got to keep smiling. Because we've heard this throughout our whole life. People like Edison, he invented 10,000 light bulbs that didn't work. And because of that level of persistence and that optimism in his vision, he was finally able to figure out what exactly needed to happen. But he was prepared to fail many times, but he remained optimistic that he was going to find the right way to make that light bulb. And we can't deny that light bulbs don't exist because we're surrounded by them everywhere. And we're surrounded because of one person's optimism. Now, here's a great question, and hopefully you know the answer. What makes leaders a leader? What separates leaders from followers? Well, the answer is that leaders have a vision, and you have to be able to share that vision. See, if you don't share your vision, then you're held back by your own fears of failure, by your own fears of rejection, and by your own fears of criticism. And they cripple 99% of the population. But if you're a real leader, then you have to share your vision. Now, when I was growing up, my mum used to share with me this biblical poem. She would say to me this: dare to be a Daniel, dare to stand alone, dare to have a purpose, dare to have it known. You have to, as a leader, share your purpose with people. If you don't share your purpose, nobody will know what you stand for. And if they don't know what you stand for, then you just become the face in the crowd. You're just another brick in the wall. You're just another sheep in the herd. So, let me remind you again. Dare to be a Daniel. Dare to stand alone. Dare to have a purpose, and dare to have it known. And then thirdly and finally, you also need to avoid perfectionism. And you need to be able to focus on excellence. And what excellence means is you doing the best you can with what you have available right now. All you have to do is the best with the resources of knowledge, of skill that you've acquired right now. And remember, that attitude is 85% of your success. And because you're already trained in these methodologies, you can create that psychology of excellence immediately. You don't have to wait for it, but you do have to demonstrate excellence. If you've acquired skills to go out and sell and you don't do it, then you won't succeed. If you've acquired NLP and timeline therapy skill sets and you don't use them and you don't share them with people, then you're never going to succeed. A leader practices what's called back to the future thinking. Leaders go out into the future, they look at the actions that they need to take today in order for them to have what they want tomorrow. Leaders also practice what's called the reality principle. They look at life for what it is. They don't look at life and reality for what they hope or wish it would be. They look at it for what it is right now. So you have to focus on excellence where you're at right now. And if you do that, you'll rise to the top and you'll start to acquire clients at a rate that could almost be illegal in some countries. So let's summarize this. In every sale, in every city, in every part of the world, the first purchase that is made is the individual. The prospect has to, first of all, like you. So for that to happen, you have to be absolutely sold on yourself. You have to be absolutely convinced that you can achieve the results that you're talking about. And how do we know that it works? Is that you've applied these technologies to yourself already. So this is what you need to do. You need to begin today. And what you have to do is you just have to implement these strategies immediately. And you know that everything I give you works the first time. So take these strategies, apply them, and your business will grow immediately. Now, if you enjoyed this video, I'd like you to like, comment, and share this video. Ladies and gentlemen, have a wonderful day.